Many people believe that science and faith are completely opposed, that science could never prove the existence of God. But what if I told you that's not true? Today, I'll share with you a revolutionary discovery made by scientists that changes everything we thought we knew about the relationship between science and faith. If you stay until the end of this video, you'll uncover secrets that can completely transform your worldview and, even better, change your life in all areas, personal, spiritual, and even professional. Are you interested? Then comment right now, "I receive the blessings that God is giving me now." Just comment that, "I receive the blessings that God is giving me now." When I see your comment, I'll give it a heart because I know you'll be ready to receive these revelations and blessings in your life. Now that you've commented, let's continue. Many people have grown up believing that science and faith are like water and oil, totally incompatible. However, this view is an oversimplification and often a mistaken one. Consider this. Some of the greatest scientists in history, like Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, had a profound reverence for the universe that suggested something beyond mere chance. They didn't see science as an antagonist to faith, but as a tool to understand the grandeur of creation. Science, in fact, can be a way to marvel even more at the complexity and beauty of the world that many believe was created by God. The real question isn't whether science and faith can coexist, but how they complement each other. Faith addresses questions that science cannot touch, such as the purpose of life and the nature of good and evil. On the other hand, science provides explanations about the how the universe functions, how life evolves. When we think deeply, we see that these two realms can, and often should, work together to provide us with a more complete vision of our place in the cosmos. How about considering the idea that perhaps science is a means through which God allows us to uncover the secrets of His creation? Have you ever wondered why there's this apparent tension between science and faith? It might be because we live in an age where secularism tries to suppress spirituality, making us believe we must choose sides. But imagine if, instead of conflict, we saw a rich and ongoing dialogue between these two forms of knowledge. Science can answer the how, but faith guides us in the why. Together, they can lead us to a deeper and more meaningful understanding of life and the universe. Consider recent advances in quantum physics and cosmology. Many of these breakthroughs not only point to an indescribable complexity in the universe, but also suggest an underlying order that some interpret as the fingerprint of a creator. When we look at the intricate structure of DNA or the precise laws governing the universe, it's not hard to see why so many scientists feel they are thinking God's thoughts as they make their discoveries. Each new scientific discovery can be seen as a piece of the divine puzzle that together we are assembling. Ultimately, the perception that science and faith are opposed does not withstand deeper scrutiny. In fact, many renowned scientists view their discoveries as a form of worship, a way to connect with the Creator through understanding His work. Science, in unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos, can lead us to a greater appreciation of God's majesty. So instead of drifting away from faith because of science, why not allow ourselves to be inspired and strengthened by both? After all, truth, whether scientific or spiritual, should bring us closer to the Creator of all things. When we think of scientists, we often imagine people solely dedicated to rationality, to pure empiricism, oblivious to any form of spiritual belief. But this view is incredibly limited and does not do justice to reality. Let's start with Albert Einstein, one of the greatest geniuses humanity has ever known. Einstein, despite not adhering to a traditional religion, firmly believed in a higher intelligence. He said, "I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details." For Einstein, the universe and its laws were evidence of a powerful and organizing mind. His reverence for cosmic order makes us question, can science truly exist without some concept of divinity? Francis Collins, director of the Human Genome Project, is another fascinating example. Collins was a staunch atheist until his genetic research and personal experiences led him to embrace the Christian faith. Imagine discovering the code of life and simultaneously feeling that each DNA sequence is like a verse written by the Creator. Collins described his journey to faith in his book, The Language of God. For him, science and faith are two complementary ways of seeking truth. He believes that studying the human genome is a way to understand the complexity and wonder of divine creation. And what about Georges Lemaitre, the Belgian priest and physicist who proposed the Big Bang theory? Yes, the idea that many think is the greatest opponent of divine creation was formulated by a priest. Lemaitre saw the Big Bang as the moment of creation, when God brought the universe into existence. He saw no conflict between his faith and his science, but rather a deep harmony. His life and work remind us that it's possible to be a brilliant scientist and a devout believer at the same time. Isn't it amazing to think that the concept of the Big Bang might be closer to biblical creation than we imagine? Let's talk about John Polkinghorne, an Anglican priest and physicist. Polkinghorne left a successful career in theoretical physics to become a priest. He believed that science and faith answered different yet equally important questions. While science can explain the mechanism of a rainbow, for example, faith can lead us to contemplate its beauty and meaning. Polkinghorne argues that the existence of reliable and understandable physical laws is itself evidence of a divine mind. He dedicated his life to showing that there's no need to choose between science and faith. Both can harmoniously coexist. Another notable example is Arthur Peacock, a biochemist and theologian. Peacock received the Faraday Medal from the Royal Society for his contributions to science, but he was also an Anglican priest who extensively wrote about the relationship between science and religion. He viewed evolution as a divine process guided by God's hand. Peacock believed that God works through natural laws, and that scientific understanding of the world brings us closer to understanding the Creator's methods. To him, evolutionary biology and theology were not enemies, but two ways to explore God's work. Lastly, there's Blaise Pascal, a French mathematician, physicist, and theologian. Pascal is famous for his contributions to mathematics and physics, but also for his deep Christian faith. He formulated the famous Pascal's wager, arguing that believing in God is the most logical choice. Pascal saw faith as both an emotional and rational necessity, offering comfort and meaning that science alone could not provide. His life and writings inspired many to see that true understanding of the universe is not limited to what we can see and touch, but also encompasses what we feel and believe. These scientists show us that faith and science are not adversaries, but allies in the pursuit of truth. Let's begin with one of the most revered names in the history of science, Isaac Newton. Newton was not only the father of classical physics, he was also a devout theologian who spent more time studying the Bible than conducting scientific experiments. Newton viewed his scientific work as a way to decipher the code that God used to create the universe. His laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation were, to him, a revelation of divine order. Imagine the mind that discovered gravity, contemplating cosmic harmony as a reflection of the Creator. Another scientist profoundly influenced by his faith was Johannes Kepler, known for his laws of planetary motion. Kepler was a devout Lutheran who believed that God had created the universe with a comprehensible mathematical structure. He often described his scientific work as a quest to think God's thoughts after him. For Kepler, every astronomical discovery was a confirmation of divine greatness. He even dedicated one of his books to God as a form of praise for allowing him to discover the laws governing the heavens. Blaise Pascal, a genius in mathematics and physics, is also famous for his deep Christian faith. After an intense spiritual experience, Pascal devoted much of his life to writing about faith and reason. He formulated Pascal's Wager, arguing that believing in God is the most logical choice in the face of uncertainty. His faith deeply influenced his scientific contributions, especially in the field of probability, where he sought to understand the apparent chaos of the world through a lens ordered by God. Consider the revolutionary idea that our decisions and probabilities in life are immersed in a divine context. Then we have Michael Faraday, one of the greatest experimenters in the history of science. Faraday, who discovered electromagnetic induction and helped usher in the age of electricity, was a devout Christian. He believed that nature was a book written by God and that science was a way to read this book. Faraday never separated his faith from his scientific work. On the contrary, his belief in an orderly creation by God was the driving force behind his relentless pursuit of knowledge. Isn't it inspiring to think that every spark of electricity we use today is a testament to his faith? Now let's talk about Francis Collins, the geneticist who led the Human Genome Project. Collins was an atheist until his experiences as a physician led him to question his disbelief. His conversion to Christianity was deeply influenced by his observations of the complexity of life and human morality. For Collins, deciphering the human genome was like reading the language of God, with each gene a sentence in the great book of creation. He sees science and faith not as opponents, but as partners in the pursuit of truth. Imagine the thrill of discovering the alphabet of life and feeling that each letter was written by a loving creator. And how can we not mention Georges Lemaitre, the Belgian priest who proposed the Big Bang Theory? Lemaitre saw no conflict between his faith and his science. On the contrary, he believed that the universe's creation from a primeval atom was evidence of the divine hand. He viewed the universe's expansion as a continuation of God's creative act. Lemaitre teaches us that it's possible to be a pioneering scientist and a person of deep faith, seeing God's hand in every new discovery. Another inspiring example is John Polkinghorne, a theoretical physicist and Anglican priest. Polkinghorne worked in quantum mechanics before becoming a priest, and he always saw his faith as a necessary complement to his science. He argued that the existence of reliable and comprehensible physical laws was itself evidence of a divine mind behind the cosmos. Polkinghorne dedicated his life to showing that faith and science can harmoniously coexist, each addressing questions the other cannot. Finally, let's consider Arthur Peacock, a biochemist and theologian. Peacock saw evolution as a process guided by God. For him, science and religion were not enemies, but partners in the pursuit of truth. He believed that evolutionary biology showed the greatness of a creator who uses natural processes to bring life into the world. Peacock viewed his scientific work as a form of worship, a way to more deeply understand God's methods. Think of the wonder of studying life, from the smallest cell to the most complex ecosystem, and seeing God's signature in every detail. These scientists show us that faith and science do not need to be in conflict. Instead, they can be seen as two different lenses through which we can understand the wonder of the universe and the depth of divine creation. Each of these lives teaches us that true knowledge comes from embracing all ways of knowing truth, both scientific and spiritual. Francis Collins, the renowned director of the Human Genome Project, is a living example of how science and faith can harmoniously coexist. Collins, who began his career as an atheist, had his life transformed by a series of personal and professional events that led him to a deep Christian faith. In his book, The Language of God, Collins writes, Science can be a form of worship, as through it, we explore God's creation. This view has resonated throughout the scientific and religious worlds, inspiring many to see scientific inquiry as a path to understanding divine work. In one of his most impactful quotes, Collins states, "For me, the discovery of the human genome was like reading the language of God." This monumental project, which mapped the entire human DNA, revealed the complexity and beauty of life on an unimaginable scale. For Collins, every gene, every DNA sequence is a sentence written by God in the grand book of life. This perspective turns science into something deeper and spiritual, inviting us to see each scientific discovery as a revelation of divine intelligence. Collins also says, "Science is the only reliable way to understand the natural world, but it's not the only way to know truth." This statement challenges us to expand our understanding of knowledge. While science helps us understand the how of the universe, faith guides us to the why. Collins sees faith as a necessary complement to science, providing a holistic view that includes not only what we can measure and observe, but also what we feel and believe. One of Collins' most moving moments was when he described his experience sequencing the human genome as a spiritual ecstasy. He felt he was unraveling one of the greatest mysteries of divine creation, a mystery that revealed God's hand in every human cell. Studying DNA, we feel God's presence. It's like deciphering the Creator's code, said Collins. This combination of science and spirituality offers a new way of seeing the world, where scientific exploration is a spiritual journey. Have you ever wondered how someone can reconcile faith in God with scientific research? Collins answers this with touching simplicity. For me, scientific knowledge and religious faith are not competitors, but partners in the quest for truth. He sees his faith not as a barrier to science, but as an impetus to continue exploring, to more deeply understand God's creation. This view challenges the paradigm that faith and science are incompatible, showing that they can enrich each other. In many interviews, Collins has expressed how his faith influences his approach to scientific research. He believes that the morality and ethics stemming from his faith are essential in guiding his research. Science can tell us how things work, but it can't tell us how we should use them. For that, we need the moral guidance that faith provides, he said. This places science in a larger context, where discoveries are not just technological advances, but also moral responsibilities. Collins has also shared his views on prayer and meditation in relation to science. When I'm facing a scientific dilemma, prayer helps me find clarity. It's a moment of connection with God, where I seek guidance and wisdom. For him, prayer is not just a religious practice, but a tool for deep reflection and finding creative solutions. This shows how faith can be a powerful ally in scientific inquiry, providing moments of introspection that lead to great advances. Finally, Collins leaves us with a powerful reflection. Science is a way for God to reveal his creation to us. Every discovery is a small window into the mind of the Creator. This view transforms science from a mere quest for knowledge into a spiritual journey, where each step is an approach to God. Collins invites us to see science and faith not as divergent paths, but as intertwining trails in the pursuit of ultimate truth. This message resonates deeply, inviting us to explore the world with an open heart for both scientific wonder and spiritual reverence. Let's dive into the fascinating world of quantum physics, a field that often seems to challenge our understanding of reality. Quantum physics, with its subatomic particles and seemingly paradoxical behaviors, raises profound questions about the nature of the universe. One of the most intriguing concepts is non-locality, where entangled particles remain connected instantaneously, regardless of distance. This suggests an interconnectedness in the universe that some interpret as the signature of a higher intelligence, a divine mind that maintains the cohesion of everything. John Polkinghorne, a quantum physicist and theologian, offers profound insights into this intersection between science and faith. He stated, "Quantum physics shows us that the world is stranger and more wonderful than we could imagine. This, to me, is an indication of the depth of divine creation." Polkinghorne views quantum indeterminacy, where particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed as a window into the mystery and freedom that God grants to the universe. This perspective challenges the mechanistic view and opens doors to a more spiritual understanding of science. Consider the double-slit experiment, a classic in quantum physics. When particles like electrons are fired through two slits, they create an interference pattern suggesting wave-like behavior. But when we observe which slit the electrons pass through, they behave like particles and the interference pattern disappears. This phenomenon indicates that conscious observation affects reality. For many, including Polkinghorne, this suggests that consciousness, and possibly a higher consciousness, plays a fundamental role in the constitution of the universe. Another intriguing discovery is quantum superposition, where particles can exist in multiple states at once. This indeterminacy until observation can be seen as a metaphor for God's continuous creation, where reality is shaped by perception and interaction. Polkinghorne sees this as evidence of God's creative freedom, allowing the universe to be dynamic and alive, not merely a deterministic mechanism. He believes that quantum physics reveals a universe where the divine is deeply intertwined with the fabric of reality. Have you ever wondered how quantum physics might affect our understanding of God? Polkinghorne suggests that the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics reflects the nature of a creator who values freedom and creativity. God is not a cosmic tyrant, but a creator who grants freedom to his creatures, says Polkinghorne. This means that just as quantum particles have freedom of movement and state, we too are endowed with free will and the ability to influence our own reality. Thus, quantum physics is not just a science, it is a spiritual revelation. Furthermore, the theory of the multiverse, derived from some interpretations of quantum mechanics, suggests the existence of parallel universes. Polkinghorne sees this as evidence of God's infinite creativity, not limited to a single reality, but capable of creating an infinity of worlds, each with its own physical laws and possibilities. The vast diversity of the universe reflects the infinite imagination of God, asserts Polkinghorne. This leads us to contemplate God's grandeur in a new and inspiring way. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which establishes that we cannot simultaneously know the position and velocity of a particle with absolute precision, also has theological implications. Polkinghorne sees this as a metaphor for our relationship with God. We cannot fully comprehend the divine nature, but we can perceive his works and feel his presence. Quantum uncertainty reminds us that there will always be mysteries beyond our understanding, pointing to God's transcendence, says Polkinghorne. This invites us to embrace humility and wonder before the divine. Finally, quantum physics offers us a view of the universe where everything is interconnected and where reality is influenced by conscious observation. Polkinghorne challenges us to see this as evidence that God is actively involved in creation, sustaining and participating in every moment. Every particle, every quantum event is a testimony to God's sustaining presence, he affirms. By exploring these concepts, we are invited on a spiritual journey where science and faith intertwine to offer us a richer and deeper understanding of the universe and the Creator. Let's think about this for a moment. How could such a complex and interdependent system arise gradually and without direction? Behe argues that the only plausible explanation is the existence of an intelligent designer who planned and assembled these systems. He states, "Irreducible complexity is a hallmark of an intelligent designer, a sign that life is not the product of blind forces, but of an intentional mind." This view prompts a radical reassessment of how we understand the origin of life and challenges the materialistic perspective that dominates modern biology. Now I ask you, have you ever wondered how a machine as intricate as the bacterial flagellum could simply arise by chance? This is precisely the point that Behe raises. He suggests that the probability of such a complex structure forming through random mutations and natural selection is astronomically low. Instead, he sees the hand of a creator behind the precise engineering of these systems. Life on Earth presents overwhelming evidence of intentional design, says Behe, inviting us to reconsider our ideas about the origin and development of life. Behe also addresses frequent criticisms of intelligent design theory, arguing that science should be open to all possible explanations for biological complexity. He insists that the rejection of the design idea is often based on philosophical biases rather than solid scientific evidence. Behe challenges his critics to present detailed and verifiable evolutionary explanations for the origin of irreducibly complex systems, something he believes evolutionary theory has yet to satisfactorily achieve. Finally, intelligent design theory and Michael Behe's research invite us to look at life with a new sense of wonder and curiosity. They suggest that behind the apparent complexity and intricate molecular machines lies an intelligent and creative mind. This perspective not only enriches our understanding of biology, but also deeply connects us with the idea of an intentional creator who designed life in an extraordinary manner. By exploring these ideas, we are invited on a journey of discovery that can radically change our perception of life and the universe. Archaeology has provided fascinating discoveries that confirm events described in the Bible, reinforcing the historicity of scriptures and tangibly connecting the past with the present in an exciting way. One of the most impressive discoveries was that of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947. These manuscripts, which include parts of all Old Testament books except Esther, were found in caves near the Dead Sea. They date from approximately 200 BC to 70 AD and are compelling evidence of the accuracy and consistency of scriptures throughout the centuries. This monumental find continues to be a cornerstone for biblical scholars and archaeologists. Another notable example is the discovery of the city of Jericho, where archaeologists like Kathleen Kenyon found evidence of destruction dating back to approximately 1400 BC, coinciding with the biblical account of the fall of Jericho's walls by Joshua and the Israelites. Kenyon discovered that the walls fell in a manner that supported the biblical description. These findings prompt us to reflect on the historical accuracy of biblical texts and how they offer us a window into events that shaped ancient history. In 1993, an inscription was found in Tel Dan, northern Israel, mentioning the House of David, referring to King David's dynasty. Before this discovery, some scholars questioned the historical existence of David, considering him more of a mythical figure. However, this inscription, dated to the 9th century BC, confirmed that David was a real historical figure whose dynasty ruled in Jerusalem. This discovery was one of the most thrilling in biblical archaeology, corroborating accounts that many considered mere legends. Have you heard of the discovery of the seal of Baruch? Baruch was the scribe of the prophet Jeremiah, mentioned in the Bible. In excavations in ancient Jerusalem, archaeologists found a clay seal inscribed with "Belonging to Baruch, son of Neriah, the scribe." This discovery, dated to the 7th century BC, not only confirms Baruch's existence, but also the common practice of seals used to authenticate documents. These small artifacts transport us directly to the biblical world, bringing to life the stories we read in scriptures. Interviews with renowned archaeologists and historians such as Dr. William F. Albright reinforce the importance of these discoveries. Albright, known as the father of biblical archaeology, stated, "Biblical archaeology does not prove the Bible. It illuminates, illustrates, and confirms the biblical narrative." His words echo the importance of not only finding artifacts, but understanding how they fit into the larger puzzle of biblical history. Archaeologists like Albright help us see archaeology as an ally in the quest for understanding scriptures. Finally, the discovery of the Pool of Siloam in Jerusalem, mentioned in the New Testament, where Jesus healed a man born blind, is a powerful example of how archaeology can confirm biblical events. In 2004, during repairs to a sewage pipe, the pool was rediscovered, and subsequent excavations revealed its features, aligning with biblical accounts. These discoveries not only validate the biblical narrative, but also provide a physical and emotional connection to the events described, allowing us to walk through the same places and imagine the scenes that unfolded there thousands of years ago. These archaeological discoveries, supported by interviews and quotes from experts, not only strengthen the historical credibility of the Bible, but also invite us to a deeper and more meaningful exploration of our faith and spiritual heritage. Mathematics has been seen by many as the language of the universe, revealing an underlying order that appears to be inherently beautiful and coherent. From the perfect proportions found in nature to the physical laws governing the cosmos, mathematics offers us a window into understanding the fundamental structure of reality. Roger Penrose, one of the greatest mathematicians and theoretical physicists of our time, has deeply explored this connection between mathematics, mind, and cosmos, offering insights that challenge our understanding of the universe. Penrose is widely known for his theory of Platonic realms, which suggests that mathematical truths exist in a timeless and immutable reality, independent of the physical world. He argues that these truths are discovered, not invented by humans. This leads us to consider mathematics not just as a tool, but as a reflection of a higher order, possibly of divine origin. In his words, mathematics is the fabric of reality, a language that transcends time and space. One of the most fascinating aspects of Penrose's theories is his exploration of the relationship between the human mind and the universe. In his book, The Emperor's New Mind, Penrose discusses how consciousness cannot be fully explained by classical physics or computation. He proposes that mental processes may be linked to quantum phenomena, which are governed by the same mathematical laws that describe the behavior of subatomic particles. This suggests a profound connection between the human mind and the fundamental structure of the cosmos, where mathematics serves as a bridge between the two. Have you ever wondered why mathematics is so effective in describing the universe? For Penrose, this effectiveness is a profound mystery that points to something beyond mere chance. He suggests that the existence of mathematical laws itself points to a cosmic mind that designed the universe with order and purpose. The apparent mathematical order of the universe is evidence of an underlying order, which may well be the mind of God, Penrose states. This invites us to reflect on the nature of reality and the possibility of a higher intelligence that permeates everything. Another intriguing point of Penrose's theories is his view on the structure of the universe and quantum gravity. In collaboration with Stephen Hawking, he developed the theory of black holes and the singularity of the Big Bang, where the laws of classical physics break down and quantum gravity takes over. The mathematical complexity of these theories not only reveals the intrinsic beauty of the cosmos, but also suggests that there is an underlying order that can be understood through mathematics. Penrose believes that this order is a signature of a cosmic intelligence. Finally, Penrose's contributions to tiling theory, especially Penrose tiling, show how complex patterns can emerge from simple rules, reflecting a deep mathematical order. These patterns, found in both pure mathematics and nature, reveal a symmetry and coherence that defy casual explanation. For Penrose, these tessellations are more than mere curiosities. They are an example of how mathematics can reflect the fundamental order of the universe, reinforcing the idea that our reality is permeated by underlying logic. By exploring Roger Penrose's ideas on mathematics, mind, and cosmos, we are led on an intellectual journey that challenges our perceptions and invites us to consider the possibility of an intelligent design governing the underlying order of the universe. This perspective not only enriches our scientific understanding, but also strengthens our faith in the existence of a higher intelligence, which is reflected in mathematics and the structure of the cosmos. Imagine standing before the mystery of the universe, delving into the depths of science, only to discover that every discovery, every complex equation leads you back to a single point: faith. For many scientists, the journey toward understanding the cosmos not only challenges their minds, but also touches their souls in unexpected ways. This is the case for Francis Collins, renowned geneticist and director of the Human Genome Project. Collins, once a staunch atheist, found in the complexity of DNA not only evidence of evolution, but also signs of an intelligent creator. His journey of scientific discovery, intertwined with his spiritual quest, led him to a profound Christian faith that transformed his life and worldview. Another inspiring example is Alan Sandage, one of the leading astronomers of the 20th century, known for his contributions to understanding the expansion of the universe. Sandage, initially skeptical about religion, eventually found comfort and meaning in the Christian faith. His relentless quest for answers about stars and galaxies led him to contemplate not only the physical laws of the universe, but also the deeper questions about the purpose of human existence. His story teaches us that even in the vast cosmos, faith can serve as a moral and spiritual compass. Have you ever stopped to think about how faith can shape not only our understanding of the world, but also our decisions and careers? Many scientists, like Jennifer Wiseman, an astronomer who has studied the formation of stars and galaxies, have found in the exploration of the universe not just a field of study, but an opportunity to marvel at the greatness of the Creator. Wiseman, who is also a Christian, highlights how her faith in divine creation motivates her to explore the mysteries of the cosmos with a sense of wonder and reverence. Her story reminds us that science and faith do not need to be antagonistic. On the contrary, they can complement each other, offering a deeper and more holistic view of reality. The personal experience of many scientists reveals that faith is not an obstacle to the pursuit of knowledge, but rather a catalyst that enriches their scientific journey. Georges Lemaitre, a Catholic priest and Belgian physicist, is remembered for formulating the Big Bang theory, a milestone in modern cosmology. For Lemaitre, scientific discovery did not contradict his faith. Instead, it confirmed his conviction that the universe had a beginning and therefore a prime cause. His integration of faith and science continues to inspire those who see the exploration of the universe as a way to praise the greatness of the Creator. The story of Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists in history, is also living proof of how faith can propel the human mind in the pursuit of knowledge. Newton, known for his laws of motion and universal gravitation, was also deeply religious and spent considerable time studying the Bible and theology. His belief in a God who ordered the universe did not hinder him from revolutionizing physics. Rather, it motivated him to seek harmony between faith and reason, inspiring generations of scientists to follow in his footsteps. The union of science and faith can be seen as a bridge connecting seemingly distinct worlds, revealing a broader panorama of human existence. As we consider the stories of scientists whose lives were transformed by faith, we are invited to reflect on how our own journeys of discovery can be enriched by spiritual seeking. After all, just as stars and galaxies reveal the complexity of the universe, faith reminds us of the depth and beauty of the human journey in search of truth. In light of all we've explored here today, I would like to share with you a piece of essential advice from God. You already have everything you need. Yes, I repeat, you already possess within yourself everything you need to achieve spiritual and material fulfillment. Do not seek outside what is already within you, for God has already deposited in your heart all the capabilities and gifts necessary for a full and meaningful life. On my YouTube channel, I focus on 3 fundamental pillars: educating, inspiring, and uplifting others to draw closer to Jesus, our Lord and Savior. It's a space dedicated to exploring biblical stories, studying theology, unraveling mysteries of the Bible, and sharing insights that strengthen our faith and spiritual understanding. It's a valuable resource for those seeking spiritual growth and personal enrichment through knowledge of the Word of God. And if you've watched this far, I want you to leave a simple comment. I stayed until the end. Just comment that. When I see your comment, I'll give it a heart, because I know I've added value to your life today. Moreover, this motivates me even more to continue bringing high-quality and relevant content to you. Now, on the screen, you'll see a powerful video that is the natural continuation of this one. It's filled with spiritual riches, secrets about God, and biblical teachings that can transform your life in every area. Don't waste time, click on the video now. Watch and absorb everything it has to offer for your spiritual and personal journey. May God continue to bless and guide your steps.